first thing we looked at today was lasso, which looks like this. So in order to get into lasso, first we have a little look at hand hooping. So I'm going to place the hoop on top of my hand, and I'm going to bring the hoop up and over and let it fall to one side. I'm going to stick my thumb out. Now the thumb stops the hoop from travelling up my arm. So the hoop comes up and over, I let it fall, and then my hand goes up and down, up and down. And I don't want to do circles, that's going to make it harder to control, so it's just like I'm giving someone a gentle handshake. My hand's just going like this. If you can see from the side, you can see that my thumb is sticking out, and I'm going up and down. I don't grab onto the hoop, I don't do circles, just up and down. Okay, so once you've got my hand with that, in order to get into lasso, I'm going to start the hoop in front of me, I'm going to turn the circle like this, get it above my head, and then forward and back, forward and back. And again, my thumb's sticking out, and that's going to stop the hoop from travelling down my arm. So have some practice with that, see if you can just come straight up above your head, and see if you can swing it round. That might help you to just get it directly above your head and not sort of just like here or here, just straight up. So now we've got lasso, we're going to go into vortex, which looks like this. So for vortex, I'm going to start in lasso, and then I'm going to start from the left side of my body. And so I'm using my right hand, I'm going to start at the left side of my body, I'm going to put the seatbelt on. That's what I like to think about. So I'm going to take my hand, and I'm going to sweep it across my body like this. So it goes. So I hold onto the hoop, I'm hooping, when it comes to my hand, I grab it, and I take it down. So just practice that movement a couple of times. So starting from left side of your body, placing the seatbelt on. And I'm going to keep my hand really close to my body, so I'm not going to stick it out like this. I'm going to keep it nice and close to my body, it's going to make it easier. And then I'm going to bring it all the way around to my back, and I'm going to pass it to my opposite hand. And when I'm holding the hoop, so my knuckles are facing towards the floor, I should say my fingers are facing towards me, I'm going to put my hand, other hand, opposite way, so my fingers are facing towards you. And then I'm going to take my seatbelt off, so I'm going to go all the way from my left hip, all the way up to the right side of my body here. So bring my arm across like that. So just practice that a few times. Then when I get to the top, I'm going to push the hoop out in front of me like that. And pass. And again, my fingers facing towards you, so my fingers of my other hand will face towards me. So I'm starting with my right hand, on the left side of my body, bring the hoop all the way down, nice and close. Pass it in my hand the opposite way, and then all the way back up, and then push out. And now I want to just try and do that a few times really, really slow while I get used to it. And then in order to try and make it look smooth, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn in the same direction as the hoop. That's going to make it a little bit easier. So my hoop's going towards the right, I'm going to turn towards the right. I'm going to make sure I'm taking the hoop all the way down and then all the way up. So if I kind of stop halfway, it makes it a little bit harder. So all the way down, all the way up. All the way down, all the way up. And turning kind of keeps the hoop with that little bit of momentum so it stays nice and flat. Lovely, so we've gone from lasso into vortex, and then we're going to jump through, so we're going to do like this. So from my vortex, push the hoop out and back into lasso. Then I'm going to grab the hoop, I'm going to swing it down and jump in, and then bring the hoop all the way up. So that's quite a difficult, can be quite a difficult movement. After I jump in, my hands are the left side of my hip. So I'm going to bring it across my body and take my seatbelt off and push it out. And then back into lasso. So to get back into lasso, you're just throwing it around your hand like that. So from lasso into vortex, then jump through, and then from there, I'm going to pass it, so it's in my right hand. I'm going to grab hold of the hoop and spin it the opposite way. So instead of the hoop going around to the right, I'm going to stop it, and get it going round to the left. Then I'm going to grab the hoop, bring it down. So actually I don't really need to grab the hoop, but for now let's grab the hoop. I'm going to bring the hoop down in front of me, comes under towards me, and then round and back up. Round and back up. So I'm just letting the hoop sort of twist in my hand, so it's very loose in my fingers. So it's going round to the left, it comes under and over. Lovely. From there we're going to go into cauldron. So for cauldron, it's a bit like why is that word going out of my head? A bit like this that we did last week, but it's on the floor here. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing my hand around the hoop. So instead of the hoop going around my hand, I'm taking my hand around the hoop. And when I get as far as I can go, my hand, the hoop is going back of my hand, front of my hand, and back round. But we're doing it on this level. So my hand is going around the hoop, around, and it can't go any further. I'm going to the back of my hand, and then to the front of my hand, and back around. Just have a practice that. Try and get it level. You can see if you can bring it up and down. See if you can turn the hoop. And my fingers are just kind of cupping underneath the hoop. So my fingers are placed, let's see if I can get in a good position, are placed a bit like this. So, let's see. Okay, from there, I'm going to grab onto the hoop with my other hand. I'm just going to do a little toss. So, a bit like a seesaw, the hoop's nice and level. Just throw it up and catch it. From there, I'm going to go into my hand hooping, and there are two choices here. So if this is your first or second class, we're just going to practice passing the hoop behind our back from our hand. So to do that, hoop's going to stay on this level in front of me. I'm going to turn. I'm going to take my other hand behind me. So the hoop is going anti-clockwise, and I'm going to turn anti-clockwise. Then I'm going to grab hold of the hoop. My thumb's pointing down, I'm going to pass it to my other hand, so my thumbs can touch, and then the hoop's going to carry on going anti-clockwise, so I'm going to just push the hoop around and keep it in front of me. So at no point do I want to twist the hoop, or at no point do I want to move the hoop from its base. I don't want to take it in front of me or anything like that. So anti-clockwise, grab on, pass, push round, anti-clockwise again. Now, if you're pretty confident with that, we're going to try passing with our elbows. So, if you want to try this, you can still try this. Even if it's your first or second class, no reason why you won't be able to do it as well. So, for elbow hooping, we're going to make sure the hoop is sort of towards the end of our elbow, about here. I'm going to place the hoop on the end of my elbow, and I'm just going to use this as a bit of a rivet. So you can see the hoop's coming up and down, but it's not leaving my elbow. So it's not going like this, it's staying on my elbow, it's coming up and down, give it a push, and then my elbows can stay nice and flat, not pointing down, not pointing up. Once I've given the hoop a push, I'm just going to bounce my elbow up and down. Again, not circles, I'm not going to put it up and down too fast. Just give it a big push, and then up and down, just gentle, nice and controlled. I can also practice going from my hand, and then getting my elbow into the hoop like that. No, it's alright. And then I can take it back out. So hoop's on my elbow, I'm going to bring my hand in and let it come onto my hand like that. So place the hoop onto my elbow, onto hand. And when you're getting your hand in, make sure you try and get the hoop right here in between your fingers and thumb. And that way, you're in that perfect hand hooping position. So from elbow, in order to pass the hoop, so it's like this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the hoop out in front of me. I'm going to turn as much as I can. So as much as I can, I've turned, I'm sticking my other elbow out, and I'm just going to bring the hoop down and onto my elbow, then straight away have that movement so it stays there. So again, the hoop's on my elbow, my back's turned, and I'm going to swing it on. So it's up, the movement is like up, down, swing. Up, down, swing. And then onto my other elbow. From there, we're just going to throw the hoop up. So again, if you're with your hands, you can still practice this move. So this is called a J throw. So what a J throw is looks like this. And basically, we're just going to go down to come up, down to come up. And that straight up is going to make sure the hoop goes straight up into the air. So down to come up, catch. Now you can do that same thing with your elbow. So pass it, it's a bit harder with your left elbow. But we're going to go down to come up and try and catch. Now I'm filming this before class, so I don't know if we're going to make it to this move or not. I might save it for next week, but just in case I did get to it, let's have a little look. So the last little trick, so just caught it in our right hand, going to swing the hoop back and toss it back up, like that. So for this trick, I'm going to have my hand here ready. The hoop's going to come up over my hand. So we looked at this a bit last week. This movement of swinging the hoop onto this part of your hand here. So I'm going to swing the hoop up and over and just let go and catch. So practice that a few times first. So up and over, catch. Your hand doesn't need to be quite flexible, doesn't need to be here, be out here, whatever works for you. For me, I want my hand to be fairly rested to my back, like easier. Now when I catch it on my hand like this, what I'm going to do, my thumb's going to come inside the hoop, and I swing the hoop around like that. So I catch it, and then I get my hand inside. In order to get my hand inside, the hoop does a little turn on my thumb. So if you watch closely, swing it round, thumb comes inside the hoop, I let the hoop drop like that, and then my hand comes inside the hoop. And if I do it quick, the momentum will keep the hoop going. So I do it slow, just show you. So I catch the hoop, let it fall into my thumb, and then bring my hand inside, and then swing it round. So, throw the hoop back, on my thumb, into my hand, and swing, and then it's a J throw from behind my back. So, down to come up.